Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating biological mystery. We're going to explore the neuroscience behind a feeling we all know way too well, why our minds so often feel like our own absolute worst enemies. We'll be looking closely at how our incredibly complex brains process reality, and more importantly, how they process the realities we, well, just make up. It's kind of like a documentary journey into the hidden mechanics of human anxiety, fear, and survival. So get ready to understand exactly what's happening inside your head when things feel like they're spiraling totally out of control. Think about the last time you had a super intimidating job interview, or maybe a really difficult, emotionally charged conversation you desperately needed to have. Have you ever felt entirely consumed by nerves before the event even happened? You know the feeling. Your palms start to sweat, your breathing gets shallow, your chest feels incredibly tight. Your heart starts racing, just hammering against your ribs, all while you're just sitting perfectly safely in your living room. Or hey, maybe you just imagined a worst-case scenario completely out of the blue and suddenly felt this crushing wave of anxiety. Well, here is the deeply surprising part that modern neuroscience has uncovered. Your brain actually reacts to imagined danger almost exactly the same way it reacts to real physical danger. Today, we're going to figure out why this biological glitch happens, how it's secretly controlling your daily life, and how you can definitively take the steering wheel back.
Section 1. The Prediction Engine: How Your Brain Guesses the Future.
Okay, let's dive into this. The really fundamental thing to understand here is that your brain isn't just a passive camera, right? It's not just reacting to the world as it unfolds in real time. Rather, it's an active, remarkably powerful prediction machine. By definition, a prediction machine is a biological system designed to constantly anticipate what will happen next, all to prepare your physical body for action. It does this by continuously cross-referencing your current environment with vast libraries of your past memories, desperately trying to guess what's going to happen in the next fraction of a second. For early humans, this relentless forward thinking literally kept them alive. I mean, if you can predict a lethal threat before it even arrives, you survive. But while this mechanism is structurally incredible, it contains a pretty significant glitch for navigating modern life. The catch is, sometimes the prediction itself becomes the problem. When you vividly imagine a failure, say completely bombing a high-stakes presentation or getting harshly rejected by someone you admire, your brain doesn't just casually observe that negative thought. Nope. It takes it as a literal guarantee. It actively, aggressively prepares you for that exact failure. Because it operates as a prediction engine, it immediately sends urgent signals to your physical body to brace for impact. So your biological systems react before anything actually happens out in the real world, leaving you thoroughly exhausted by a catastrophic event that hasn't even taken place yet. Absolutely wild, right? Moving on to Section 2, when imagination feels real, the physical cost of fake danger. And this brilliantly illustrates the physiological mystery we're talking about. When neuroscientists compare highly detailed brain scans of people facing actual, real-world danger versus those who are just vividly imagining something frightening, the results are completely startling. It all comes down to a small, almond-shaped cluster of nuclei deep within the brain called the amygdala. This is your brain's primary threat detection center. When scanning these patients, the amygdala lights up like a Christmas tree in both scenarios. Literally, imagining a terrifying event activates the exact same emotional and fear networks in the brain as facing an actual physical threat. Your internal alarm system, running on ancient hardware, simply cannot easily tell the difference between a real threat standing right in front of you and a hypothetical threat you're just visualizing in your mind's eye. Because your brain sounds that internal alarm, the physical reaction is immediate, and it is intensely powerful. Your heartbeat gets much faster to pump crucial oxygen and blood to your limbs. Your muscles instantly tense up, preparing your body to literally fight or flee for your life. And your entire system is rapidly flooded with an enormous increase in stress hormones, like cortisol and adrenaline. The absolutely remarkable and honestly somewhat comical thing here is that your body completely believes the terrifying story your mind is telling. It mounts a massive, full-scale physical defense, giving you the adrenaline you'd need to fight off a lethal attacker, all while you are just sitting safely in your sweatpants on the couch. You are paying a very real, very exhausting physical cost for a totally fake danger. Let's ground this complex science in a highly relatable everyday example. Imagine you just sent a very important, highly vulnerable message. Maybe it's a confession to a romantic interest, or, maybe it's an urgent, risky proposal to your boss. You hit send. You wait a few minutes, staring at the screen, nothing. An entire hour goes by. You check your phone again. Still absolutely no reply. Just a blinking cursor and a deafening digital silence. Well, nature abhors a vacuum, and so does your brain. To fill that deafening silence, your prediction engine instantly kicks into overdrive. Without concrete data, it assumes the absolute worst. Your brain starts aggressively creating stories. They're angry with me. I made a massive, unforgivable mistake in that last email. They just don't like me anymore. You go down this intense, suffocating anxiety spiral, your stomach tied in painful knots, your heart pounding, only to discover 3 agonizing hours later that they were simply stuck in back-to-back meetings without cell service. They reply with a perfectly friendly, enthusiastic message, meaning for those 3 entire hours, your brain and body suffered immensely from a severe problem that never actually existed outside of your own head. Which brings us to Section 3, Evolution's Outdated Survival Software, Why Our Brains Do This. Let's move to and see how this builds, because it's deeply important to validate your experience here. You aren't broken, you are just running old biological programming. Thousands of years ago, assuming the absolute worst-case scenario was a literal evolutionary superpower, our ancestors survived entirely because of false positives. Think about it. If they heard a sudden rustle in the bushes and falsely assumed it was a deadly predator, they ran away. If it turned out people just the wind, a false positive, they were still alive. However, if they assumed a rustling bush was just the wind and it was actually a hungry sneak, well, they died. Assuming danger kept humans alive on the dangerous savanna. But present day, that exact same biological reflex is triggered by assuming the worst about unanswered texts. We are dealing with a massive evolutionary mismatch. Today, the deadly predators stalking us on the savanna have been replaced by modern, everyday stressors. Unread emails from a client, daunting final exams, the endless and overwhelming scroll of social media, intimidating job interviews, and highly complex interpersonal relationships. These are our modern predators. But the supreme irony is that your biological hardware hasn't updated in thousands of years, so it treats an angry email from a client exactly like a hungry tiger. Your brain is desperately trying to save your life from an awkward social interaction by giving you the physical tools and adrenaline you'd need to outrun a wild beast. No wonder we're all so tired. Let's wrap things up with Section 4, Rewiring Your Brain, Breaking the Cycle of Anxiety. Fortunately, we don't have to be permanent hostages to this outdated programming. We can actively override this ancient system using a simple, evidence-based protocol. So the crucial point is, when you feel that familiar anxiety spike, use these 3 critical steps. Step 1, pause and ask yourself, is this actually happening right now, or am I just imagining it? Step 2, ruthlessly separate facts from stories. The sheer fact might be they haven't texted back. The completely fabricated story is they hate me. Step 3, focus solely on evidence instead of assumptions. What do you actually know to be undeniably true? Here's why this works neurologically. By forcing your brain to look at concrete facts, you are actively engaging your prefrontal cortex, the logical, reasoning center of your brain. That logical center then sends a direct signal to the amygdala to turn off the stress alarm. The brain instantly registers that there is no tiger, and your nervous system becomes dramatically, physically calmer. I want to leave you with this final, incredibly powerful thought. Your greatest enemy isn't always reality. It's the story your brain writes. The elusive ghost in the machine is your own unguided imagination. But once you understand the actual neuroscience behind it, you gain the immense power to take control. Learning to pause, question your brain's internal narrative, and anchor yourself firmly in the facts might just be one of the most powerful, life-changing skills you will ever develop. So, the next time your heart races over a completely hypothetical scenario, ask yourself, are you actually facing a tiger, or is your brain just writing a ghost story?